Hello everyone!
Hi
And there we
everyone.
are, the Sven and Joe.
Travel show.
Well, last week we had a pilot episode where you may have seen us struggling a lot during the live stream. We had some mistakes there, but we will not talk about it anymore.
It was a bit of a struggle, but we're actually properly live now. How exciting, isn't it?
So let's start with what this show is all about. It's all about travel. And for this episode, we're going to talk about travel in
That's right.
2020.
Oh, so we're gonna go straight to talking about 2020, and I'm gonna move windows around because
Before we move to travel in 2020, let's leave that for later. I would say let's start with us. Where did this all started for us? Because I've seen you around on YouTube, and last time we tried to get the origin story out there, but all the audio was gone.
Yeah, so we did kind of to go back to what we happened last week. We actually tried to do the pilot episode. Turns out we had no idea. We kind of made a few mistakes. So we talked about our origin story. Origin story. Well, you want to know my story, Sven?
Well, I wonder because you name yourself as This Way Up Travel on
Yes.
YouTube. That's correct, right?
That's correct.
This Way Up Travel. So let's start. Where's that name coming from?
Okay, funny story. So This Way Up was originally my gamer tag when I was playing online games since I was about 15 years old. So This Way Up has travelled all through my childhood, my 20s, my adult years, and I thought This Way Up. Why not add travel towards the end of it and call it This Way Up Travel? And yeah, and your name, how did that start?
Well, that's a long story as well, to be fair. So I started traveling ages ago when I was still a student or in high school, and my friends were just like joking. I mean, Sven, whenever we asked to meet up, do something together, you're just abroad. You're always away. So they created this Facebook page in that time when like Facebook was still popular, and they called it they called it Svenywhere. Basically because, well, wherever I was, where is Sven? And they created those images with me photoshopped very awkwardly in those places around the world. And then I moved abroad. I wanted to start my own travel content and stuff. And then I decided, well, can I just take over this name, what they created at that time, and use it for my own channel?
Okay, so I have a question for you then. What was the, I started my travel channel purely because I thought, because I'm traveling a fair amount, I didn't really have all these memories captured anywhere. I'm a terrible photographer, so I thought I'd do a load of videos. What was that your intention? Because obviously we do very similar styles of video. I mean, what was the starting point? Capture your memories, teach other people to travel better, or something else?
I think I basically started with my diary, what I always had during my travels. I always made a diary with writing down what happened during that day.
Yep.
And then I moved to London and I lost loads of my hobbies. So at that point I decided, okay, let's start more to do with all the pictures I captured during those trips. Let's try to edit them, put them out on my own blog, write stories about them.
Yep.
And yeah, I wanted to do more creative stuff. So my girlfriend kept pushing me, why are you not creating videos during trips? Why are you not doing that? So yeah, I decided, okay, I will give it a go. 1 year ago, I gave it a go, tried to edit some of my videos. And then, now here we are, 1 year later, still trying to push things out there and tell some travel stories.
So let me get this right. Your girlfriend pushed you over the edge of making videos.
Yeah, I hate to be on a camera, to be fair.
Yeah.
I really hate this. I love to edit all my videos afterwards. I love to go into that editing process, creating a story, telling that story. I'm thinking beforehand what kind of story I want to tell. But on front of the camera, it's not really my thing. I
understand where you're coming from.
Well, I started even to go back when I was 13 years old, and I joined you will call it middle school, I guess, here. Well, for us in the Netherlands, secondary school.
Yep.
So I joined the drama club over there, and slowly I discovered after 1 year doing some awful acting that I rather be behind the scenes and do everything behind the scenes than being in front of the camera.
See, that's what I find so interesting about doing this. Like, everybody I've spoken to who've done travel channels, travel blog stuff, they all come from different backgrounds. My background is quite different from yours.
What's your background then? Once we talk about your background here.
Well, so I actually was originally IT guy, and then literally 5 years ago, I got into video. Just fancy doing something a bit different one weekend. And if you're interested in documentary filmmaking, I recommend going to the London Documentary Network. They do this event called Doc in a Day, and I fell in love with the idea of making documentaries. And the interesting thing about documentaries is that you basically go through a process to try and, like you said, crafting the story, making it sound interesting, enticing. And from that weekend, I basically decided I'm going to do video for the rest of my life. I kind of fell out of love with IT.
Mm-hmm.
And here we are. I'm now a freelance videographer. You can hire me, Hybrid Forward Productions, wink, wink. And I've been carrying on doing video content since then. And the funny thing about my channel is the fact that it's actually a place for me to experiment with different types of travel videos. So you're going to see all sorts if you go to my channel. And yeah, ever since then.
It's great to see that you at least were able to make this hobby from, basically starting in IT and now moving to videography and now being a freelancer for yourself. It's interesting to see that you made to kick that off. Like, I still have my 9-to-5 job in that perspective, and travel in the free time.
Well, you say that now, but I kind of said to myself, I'm going to give myself a year, about 5 or 6 years, to try and make a fair working wage. I mean, being a freelance videographer, it's really hard work. It's a really, really competitive industry. So, and I must admit, I do miss the money from being an IT contractor. Once you've earned a lot of money doing IT stuff, it's really hard to like rip away from that. And now I'm just a poor filmmaker. I know. Violin, everybody, violin. But yeah, well, what shall we go on to next?
Well, we almost started about like plans for the future in that perspective, and you're giving yourself 5 years to make yourself a freelance photographer or freelance videographer.
Yeah, that's it. That's my time limit.
I have 2 years left here, and then my plan is to travel around the world to quit my job. So that's also for far ahead future.
What? You're gonna like quit, leaving London, leave me to do this whole live stream, and SvenJoe will be gone in 2 years.
You know, if people still want to watch this in 2 years' time, I'll just dial in from Madagascar at that time, or Zimbabwe. And we're going on safari together, and I will take you around.
Now that is a very, very good idea. So let us know in the comments if you're up for that. SvenJoe Travel Show travels.
So while we're talking about the future anyway, let's talk about 2020 and what we're up to in 2020. So what are you up to in 2020 with your travels?
Well, 2020, last year was a really good year of travel. This year, I've said I'm going to calm down on the travel just a little bit because I basically need to actually get this business rolling. And I said, I know what, because Brexit has happened, I thought, and I've been really bad about exploring the UK. So I'm going to be traveling more around actual UK, exploring other cities. I've still never been to Bath, for example, or Oxford, or Cambridge.
What, you have never been to Bath?
No.
To be fair, one of my things was for this year, I want to travel more in the UK as well. But at least I've visited Bath. I haven't visited Oxford, Cambridge either. But Bath, I have been there.
Yeah, but I lived there all my life. I should really know about these places.
Yeah, you lived here all your life. I'm only here for 5 years already, but still. Yeah.
Wait a minute, you've been here for 5 years?
4 years. 4 years now. At this point in time.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize you've been there for such a long time.
Well, because I've only been making videos for the last year, I guess. So that probably explains why.
That's true.
But yeah, so one of your things is to explore the UK more.
Yep, that's it. And how about yourself?
Wait, is there nothing else on your calendar for the rest of the year? It's just exploring the UK more.
Well, there is an idea of going to exploring more of Germany because I've kind of fell in love with Germany. Germany has always been one of those places. I don't know about you guys, but Germany has got so much diversity to it. I recently last year discovered Hamburg, and Hamburg has this really interesting side of it. You can check out my videos on my channel to sort of go into more details. And I just wanted to see more of the old castles and the history of Germany. Absolutely amazing. So that's going to be somewhere more over the summertime. How about you?
So, I was supposed to be just coming back from China, so that didn't happen. So we still have a trip planned this year somewhere to go back to China. And then I think the first trip that's coming up is next week. Well, next weekend, basically, if you could call it a trip.
Yep.
It's going back to the Netherlands, going to celebrate Carnival, which is It's one of the things I grew up with, so I need to go back to the Netherlands to dress myself up as a firefighter or whatever.
Sven, do tell us more about Carnival in the Netherlands.
So, okay, I have a video on my channel, so I tried to search this in the meantime while I'm talking over this. But basically, Carnival is a celebration in the Netherlands where people dress themselves up.
Okay.
But it's only like celebrated in the south of the Netherlands. So you will not find it somewhere on the northern part. So it's below the rivers.
Okay.
And the idea is coming from Christian history or Christian religion that influenced us a lot in that region. And it's celebrating just the part before you have the feasting period where you're not allowed to eat for 40 days.
I see.
And the idea is that we just be all equal, basically. So it doesn't matter if you're a director of a high company, if you're the prime minister, or if you're just construction worker. It's just the idea that you just be all equal, and people are just dressed up, and you can see myself probably now dressed up as Santa Claus.
Yep.
And it's just 5 days non-stop partying, and
5 days.
It's 5 days non-stop. Officially, it starts on Sunday.
Right.
It starts Friday evening, and then Friday 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it just goes over until Tuesday evening, and then on Wednesday the feasting period starts.
Okay,
which no one is doing anymore, by the way.
I must admit, I thought I knew a few things about the Dutch, but I never knew that the carnival lasted such a long time. It sounds like a great crazy party. I should really go.
Yeah, no, you definitely should. But it's a very it's a thing that's very village bonded. So when I go back, I just see all my friends from my childhood again.
Right.
People who I won't see for a year, don't even speak to for that time period, and I only see them during Carnival. So
you're saying to me, so is it more? It's not too touristy then, by the sounds of things. It's very a very Dutch tradition.
It's a very Dutch tradition. What you will see, like my village, is not touristy at all. If you go to Eindhoven, the nearest city for me, then you will see on especially Saturday evening a lot of tourists from the north are coming into the south to celebrate some carnival, so they're trying to celebrate Carnival.
Okay.
But yeah, no, it's a very very local thing.
Interesting. You see, I want to actually discover more local based carnivals or parties like that. So guys, if there's any suggestions on the stream or on the comments, let me know, especially if you're around Europe.
Yeah, so that's the first trip. That's going back for Carnival. Mm-hmm. The second trip will be around Eastern. We haven't planned this Eastern trip yet, so with Eastern we definitely are going somewhere. Then the next trip planned would be Lisbon in May. Oh,
actually, you just reminded me. I'm going to Lisbon in May as well.
And you told me that you're only planning in the UK. Okay, what's going on? You're going in Lisbon in May.
I completely forgot about that. Basically, we're both part of this Facebook travel group called Travel Videographers. And,
that's right, yeah.
There's a few of us planning to get together and go somewhere in Europe. Turns out, we all voted and we thought, let's go to Lisbon. So we're going to Lisbon sometime in the end of May, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah, we will be in the beginning of May, like the first bank holiday in May. That's when we are going to Lisbon.
Well, in that case, you know what you should do? You should change your plans for us. Simple.
Oh, we'll consider that. Unfortunately, the flight tickets are already booked, so that one is settled.
Oh, shame.
And then, end of May, bank holiday, we're going as well. So there could be Madrid, Spain, something. That's where we're looking at the moment.
Have you been to Portugal before?
I haven't been to Portugal yet. No, I have been to Spain several times. I haven't been to Portugal, so I'm very curious what the differences would be between Spain and Portugal in that perspective.
Yeah, I recommend going to Portugal. Like I recommend anybody. I still think it's really really popular. Lisbon and I've forgotten the country in the town, the city in the north. Anyway. Yes, it's really, really popular. Lisbon's such a cool city. Definitely check out a Faldo. They do this dance called Faldo. It's a bit depressing, but still very entertaining. They do a very elaborate dance and whatnot.
Okay, yeah. So that's definitely what we'll check out during the time. And I will ask some tips when I'm going around that time.
Please do. I'm here. I'm always willing to give tips.
Yeah, and then as a long-term trip, I hope to go still to China at some point. So when it's safe over there, we're going back to China to do some couple of things.
Okay.
And visit my girlfriend's family.
Oh, your girlfriend's from China.
Yeah,
right?
she's Chinese, and I'm practicing my Mandarin, which is going not as well as it's supposed to be at the moment.
Okay.
But that's for another time. My Mandarin.
Go on, speak some words of Mandarin for us. I'm Cantonese, so I have no idea what you're saying to me.
文成，你叫什么名字?
Which means.
Which means, sorry, can I ask what's your name?
Oh, okay. It sounds like Chinese. I have no idea about Mandarin at all, guys.
Okay, but yeah, so China, that's on the planning list. And then I just booked my tickets for Traverse in November. So I'm going to Mallorca.
So do you manage to get a ticket, some tickets to Traverse then?
Yes. First time that I will go to a travel conference. I went to Borderless Live last year in London because it's just around the corner. But the first time I'm really going to a conference for a whole week and meet some interesting people over there.
Oh, Michael's here.
Hey, Michael, welcome to join the stream.
Hey, Michael.
But yeah, that's so I'm going to Traverse 20 in November. So I need to book my flight tickets for that one as well. I need to sort out the exact dates that I will be there.
We should pause for 1 second and actually tell what people is Traverse and Borderless.
Yeah, maybe you are able to give a better intro than me.
Definitely do that. Basically, Traverse is this travel a group of people based out in London, and Traverse, they do events mainly focused around influencers, content creators. It started with a bunch of bloggers, and they get together. It's a great community of people. Traverse has been running for about 5 or 6 years. The events, they do an annual event where they go to different cities around Europe. Last year, I started going 2 years ago in Rotterdam. That was absolutely amazing. It's a bit of a crazy party. Last year it was in Italy, and it was also pretty damn good. And this year it's in, where is it, Palma or something?
Palma, yeah, Mallorca. So I just put on your videos when you were in Trentino last year.
Yes.
So that's what you see now behind in the footage. Yeah, I heard some good stories over there, so I'm very curious how it will be like over there to be there just with a bunch of creators.
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. If you ever get a chance to check out any of the Traverse events, really good bunch of people. The people who run it, absolutely lovely, great community. Especially if you're a travel blogger, so I recommend checking them out. Videos becoming more and more important in our community. So if you're just starting a YouTube channel, or you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel, then it's a good time to be part of it. And we should also mention Borderless. Borderless is an event which is a collaboration between the people who do Traverse and also the people who do WTM. And they basically rented out a tobacco docks. Well, they've hired tobacco docks last year in September, and it's a mix of like a conference stroke exhibition of different presenters and whatnot. And they hired me out to cover a load of videos, and I got a load of video coverage, which hopefully I'll release it quite soon. I recommend it. Really, really good.
So yeah, I'm very curious how that will be, and let's stop with all the promotion from Traverse because we're not sponsored by them, and I'm just excited to go there and to see another part of Spain basically, and see how that would look like as well, and meet of course some great people over there. And then we're already at the end of the year, and then we're getting into Christmas period. Haven't got anything planned yet. My parents want me to go back to the Netherlands. Not sure if that will happen.
Well, unfortunately, Sven, but I just read something that the chat is slightly out of sync. Thanks, Michael. Appreciate that.
Well, it only means that we can interact faster with you guys on the chat than you will see back on the video.
Yeah, I have no idea what's happening there.
But, if we're just looking at like 2020, and I have quite some things planned up. Some things are very uncertain. I still have some annual leave days to spend. That's the 9-to-5 job. You get such a certain amount of annual leaves, and I want to spend them all on traveling and as efficient as I can. How do you normally plan your trips? Do you book something in advance, or how do you decide where you will go in the near future?
Well, if I'm doing a more medium-term trip, what I normally do, I actually plan at least a couple of months in advance. I haven't done a medium-term trip, so what I classify as medium-term is somewhere between 1 to 3 months. For shorter-term trips, I plan next to nothing. I mean, I don't know about you, but I like that idea of having a very, very basic plan and then make up as I go along. How about you?
Well, normally I do indeed. Normally we don't plan much in advance. Normally what happens is we just go to sites as Skyscanner and we just type in from London to everywhere in the period that we kind of want to go.
Yep.
And then we just check what is the cheapest flight and where do we want to go, basically. From that list, what's interesting? Where do we want to go in that period of time? And that's how we plan it normally.
Okay.
This year we decided, okay, there are some bank holidays, and if you don't book in advance, tickets and prices will go up rapidly. So that's why we decided, at least for those bank holidays, to plan things in advance.
Okay.
Yeah, and besides that, normally we don't plan much in advance, to be fair.
So what's the longest trip that you've been on over the past couple of years then?
Well, okay, since then I need to go back to my student time, to be fair, which is already a long time ago, where I lived abroad for like 6 months in Taiwan. I lived for 5 months in Ghana. I lived for...
Wait a minute, you lived in Ghana?
I lived in Ghana for 5 months.
Oh my god, that must have been amazing.
Yeah, it's also the part where I met my girlfriend, to be fair, so that's why I ended up here in London.
Oh, tell us the story. Story
classic
time.
love story.
Story time.
You meet someone abroad during your travel, and then you fall in love, and then you finish your study, and you need to settle down for work, and then you move to London.
Oh, isn't that just lovely, guys?
And then 4 years later, I'm still stuck in this city.
It's an amazing city. I love London. London's the best city. I mean, I'm slightly biased since I come from here.
Yeah, well, I'm okay with London. London is great in certain perspectives. In other perspectives, it's like, if you really want a good city to live,
yeah,
Taipei in Taiwan was just a great place to live for 6 months. That's just a city. It is a city, has loads to offer as a city. It's near the sea. You can go to the beach whenever you want. There are mountains around it. So if you love hiking, which I do, there's just loads of things to do there. London, it's a nice urban environment.
Yeah.
But it has nothing to offer, to be fair. Like, it's very difficult to go into nature.
That I tend to agree. Yes, I must admit.
It's an island on an island.
That's so true. I really discovered nature about maybe 2-3 years ago when I went to Nepal. And Nepal, if anybody you guys have been, Nepal's amazing. It changed my mindset on how important nature is to people, literally. So since then, I've become more and more in tune with my inner nature love. Honest.
I tried to do this video last year with it was a collaboration with Free and Traverse as well at that time, where they had a kind of video. Well, it's not really a competition, but just create some content, and here you have a camera and see how great the content can get. And I went to cover the nature places in London, which was quite hard, to be fair. Like, if you think about going to a nature place in London, where would you go?
Where will I go in London?
Yeah, where will you go in London if you want to go for a nice stroll in nature?
Okay, Richmond Park, easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one is maybe there's in Lee Valley. Actually, it's not quite nature, but they do have rapids where you can just have a bit more adventuring.
Yeah, Lee Valley is nice. That's where I'm living at the moment, so it's a great place.
Living in Lee Valley?
Well, Lee Valley goes all the way from the north part in London to the south of Camden. Like, I live at Olympic Park, so you will enter there Lee Valley from there.
Well, also, I suppose when it comes to, you have got me actually. There isn't a lot of nature. I mean, you can catch trains to Sussex and have a bit of a walk around Sussex, more like, at that area, but I'm not an expert. What we really need is an expert travel hiker in our midst. If my friends were here, we should invite somebody who's an expert travel hiker.
No, I would be very interested, especially for day trips from London. Like, how could you get from London into a nice day trip that you can do from the city in London somewhere, having a nice day hike, especially with summer coming up. I would be very interested what hikes you can do here.
Yep.
Because it's not easy, and especially if you look at the train ticket prices here in London, it's just outrageous, to be fair.
That is true, actually.
Like, you also want to keep it affordable, and paying 100 quid to get somewhere for a hike is not affordable.
No, I tend to agree. I tend to agree. So stay in the city. I must admit, I am a bit of a city lover, so I'm the opposite side of you. I've just read a quick message from Michael. Seems like there's a small lag to the last comment. Yep. Yes, Michael, there is. Yep. There's about a 1 minute lag, no, 30-second lag between us talking and reacting.
So sorry if we react a little bit late, but that's just the lack of the stream.
Yep.
But I think we talked already for quite a while now on the stream, and we should wrap this up while we were looking at 2020 and what's coming along.
Yep.
Looking at next week. Next week we will not be here because we will both be at another event.
That's it. Oh, so yeah, basically the whole Traverse thing that we mentioned, the Traverse events, we're actually going to be going to that. If you're free, and if there's still tickets available, you should go to Traverse events. I forget the website, but I'll add details in the comments and description. And we'll be hanging out and just chatting away with the rest of the community.
Yeah, and then and then I'm going back for Carnival, and then it's the Wednesday after where we will do something. What do you think we should talk about next week's stream? And please, if you have any suggestions, drop them down in the comments below as well, and we will keep those in mind. What you want to see covered on those streams as well, because this is new for us. Yep. And we're starting this journey with you. So we would like to know what you want to hear about from us in terms of travel and all the travel content. So,
well, let's throw in one more question. Do you have time to ask one more question? Answer one more question?
Yeah. If there are any questions out there,
I have one question for you. What is your content plan for the next, say, couple of videos?
So at the moment, I'm still covering off my Christmas, New Year's content. So I'm doing this journey in Austria, and the video last week was just about covering Salzburg during Christmas. So the video tomorrow will be about my road trip from Salzburg to Vienna and visiting all those cities in between, hopefully with some snow, but you will see that in the video if we even saw some snow during winter, and then celebrating New Year in Vienna. So that's all what's coming up in the near future.
Keeping suspense. Will you or will you not see snow? Dun, dun, dun.
What about your channel? What's coming up in the near future?
Well, actually, I'm gonna redo a couple of videos. Well, okay, one video. I basically don't really redo videos. I generally post a video, and no matter how bad it is, I just leave it there. So you see lots of terrible videos, but I've completely fallen in love with Hamburg, and went on a press trip back in September. So I'm going to redo a couple of videos about me going to Hamburg and the musical side of Hamburg, and I've got loads of content around that. But also, secondly, I'm going to be doing more about how to be a travel filmmaker, travel videographer, or basically a guy who travels with video. I've been having a few questions thrown at me recently. What's the best gear to buy? What's the best way to structure a vlog? And because I've got so many different types of videos on my channel, I thought, well, I must answer questions that everybody keeps on asking on my channel.
Okay, that will be interesting. Till the time when that comes out, we can have that discussion here about what you covered, and if I agree with that or not. So it would be interesting to see how that would look like. And because you love Hamburg, maybe we should do a German-Austria section as well, covering German and Austrian culture.
Oh, no, that'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll keep that for next time, and I think we'll leave it there. So leave all your suggestions for